Alright, we're getting here to polynomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c, and we're going to start talking about how the side lengths of a triangle are related to the area of a triangle. Remember that area is length times width, so if we multiply these two pieces together, we get an x squared, 7 x's, and 21 ones. Now the process that we can use here is called FOIL, and we use this whenever we're going to multiply two binomials together. So what I need you guys to write in here is that the F stands for the first, the O stands for the outer, the I stands for the inner, and the L stands for last. So this is what we multiply. First we multiply the first ones, then the outer ones, then the inner ones, then the last ones. Now does the order actually matter? Like, do you have to actually go in that order, or could you do Milo? Right? It doesn't matter the actual order that you go, as long as each piece gets multiplied by each of the other pieces. So let's try example 1 here together. It says expand and simplify, which really, you guys, means multiply. We're multiplying this together. So when we multiply using FOIL, we're going to start by multiplying the first and the first thing together. So we're going to start with c times c, which is c squared. Then we're going to go O to the outer. So the outer is going to be c times 3, the two outside pieces. So c times 3 is going to be 3c. Then we're going to go I. I stands for inner. So we're going to do the two inside pieces multiplied together. So 5 times c is 5c. And then finally L stands for last. So the two last pieces is the 5 times the 3, so 15. So we get c squared plus 3c plus 5c plus 15. But wait, we're not quite done there, because you're always going to get two like terms. So two terms that have the same variable that need to get put together. So when I put my 3c and my 5c together, I'm going to get 8 c's. So we'll get c squared plus 8c plus 15. And that would be multiplying those two binomials together. So if we're going to use the box method, what we do is we're going to put one of these, so c plus 5 on the top, the other one, so c plus 3 on the side. So remember that the factors, or the two sets of brackets, are like our side lengths, and we can multiply them together to find the area. So the first box, if it has dimensions of c times c, we get, again, c times c, so c squared. The second box, it has a side length of 5 and a side length of c, so c times 5 would be 5c. The box down here would have a dimension of c and a dimension of 3, so 3 times c is 3c. And our final box has a dimension of 3 and a dimension of 5, so 3 times 5 is 15. Now the only other thing we have to do is we see that we have a 5c and a 3c, which are like terms. So again, we have to add those two diagonal ones together. So your final answer will be c squared plus 8c plus 15, just like it was when we used the FOIL method. So we have a few blanks to fill in here. It says again, we use FOIL to multiply the binomials. However, this time you must use the distributive property in order to distribute the negative signs. All right, so let's look here at c. When we're completing c, again, FOIL means multiply. So 2x times 2x should be 6x squared. Make sure you didn't forget that the x times the x is x squared. Then a 2x times a 4 is an 8x. A minus 3 times a 3x is a negative 9x. And then the negative 3 times the 4 is negative 12. Now this wouldn't get you quite full marks, because remember you have to combine the like terms, which in this case is the positive 8x and the negative 9x. So we'll get 6x squared minus 1x minus 12 for that question. All right, so please check your answer here for D. Next, we're going to try a few problems on the handout. And then those of you that when you finish the handout, you can go to page 167, number 16 and 18. On the handout, we're going to try just these questions that I highlighted on the board. But like I said, they're on the handout at the back of your notebooklet. Alright, so here we're going to move on to factoring trinomials. So write this in your notes. It says to determine the factors of a trinomial of the form x squared plus bx plus c. Step 1, find two numbers that add up to b, and remember b is the middle term. And find the same two numbers that multiply to get c, and c is the last term. So b is the middle term, and c is the last term. So that's all we're looking for. Again, we're trying to go backwards instead of foiling. We're now going to undo that to get factors. All right, so let's try this one. We've got x squared plus 2x minus 8. So remember, we're going to add to get the middle term. And here the middle term is a negative 2. We're going to multiply to get the last term. And here the last term is a negative 8. So let's think about this. And we always think about the multiplying because there's not as many options. For example, 1 times 8 gives us 8, or 2 times 4 give us 8. So which of these combinations, though, is 2 apart? Because it has to add to get 2. So 2 and negative 4 will add to get negative 2, and they'll multiply to get negative 8. Now the final step here, you guys, is we have to write this as factors. And factors means in the brackets multiplied together. So we're going to get x plus 2, and we're going to get x subtract 4. Because we have a positive 2 and a negative 4 in those two spots. All right, let's look at b, x squared minus 12x plus 35. So again, I'm looking for two numbers that add to get the middle number, so negative 12, and two numbers that multiply to get the last number, so 35. So let's think, what are some numbers that multiply to 35 but add to get 12? So finally, let's put our answer down. So we're going to get x subtract 5 and x subtract 7. Now, does anyone know how you could check this? How could you check that you were right? So example 3 is a little bit different because we need to reorder it. It's not in descending order. So in descending order, we put the squared thing first, the regular term in the middle, and then the constant would go at the end. So d squared minus 5d minus 24. Now we can go through and do the same process as before. So go ahead, I'd like you to try it and see if you can do this one on your own.
And then